Hey there, my name's Taylor and this is a recap of the Tuesday night crit from April 22nd, 2025. This is actually my brother's camera, Rusty, that we're looking at right now. I'm in front in the green jersey, switch over to my view here. And yeah, so last week we had fantastic weather, very little wind. This week, similarly fantastic weather, but actually a little bit of wind, which I have come to appreciate after last week as a way to split the group up, force a selection to happen, especially on this course that we race on, which is super wide. You know, you can maybe fit 6 or 8 riders across it, and there's no uphills, there's no technical sections. The most technical thing on this course are the little dips here that we go through every now and then, but they're, you know, not really anything. This was the second week where we did a new thing where we had a neutral start, which is very loosely defined, but you know, just kind of take it easy up until the first corner, and then you can uncork it and go nuts. So if you saw a surge of power right there around the first corner, that's why that happened. In terms of strategy for me today, it's going to be the same it always is. Pretend like I'm the weakest rider. Really, I want to try to get across the finish line using the fewest number of total watts. So like, do not a lot of surging, try to be in the middle of the pack, try to be sheltered drafting the whole time. And that just so happens to work great for me because I can't, you know, sprint or do a huge effort anyway, so that's kind of what I have to do. And we're going to be jumping back and forth between my view, which you're seeing now with the stats on the screen, and my brother's view, which does not have the stats. His camera was messed up, so he borrowed my camera, so I don't have a rear cam this time around, but other than that, everything is the same as usual. And my brother's strategy typically is to tail gun, and I think that's what he's doing today. You can see that, you know, he's at the back of the group. We don't have a rear cam for either one of us, but I don't see any shadows other than that guy he just passed. And he's, you know, a couple bike lengths off the pack, and there's tons of riders in front. So it's, you know, actually kind of a little strung out right now, maybe 1 or 2 riders wide most of the way, and he's in the back. So his plan, I think, is going to be to like sit at the back for the whole race and try not to get dropped, basically. So back to my view, I am feeling good about like being in with the group, and there haven't been any huge surges yet, so I've been able to keep up. But typically what happens on this course is that on this, like, so we're coming into the start finish right now, and the corner before this, people tend to go super hard and then carry that speed through this start finish section that we're on right now. But then when we round this corner, it's almost always into the wind, and then the group kind of slows down and bunches up. So when people go past me on this part of the course, I'm usually not actually that worried about it, because my assumption is when I round this corner, as long as I'm like kind of close to somebody's wheel, it'll probably slow down, and that's exactly what happens right here. So this is like lap after lap. Maybe it doesn't actually happen every lap, but this is what I expect to happen most laps. So nothing super exciting happened, just like pack riding through there as expected. But I think, yeah, Jason he's in front of me right there, and he just had a pedal strike going through that corner. Fortunately, he kept it upright, but you know, a little dicey. And like I mentioned, so things pick up a lot right here. So we're doing like I'm doing 300 and 400 watts. It's single file again. It gets all strung out. I'm just trying to hang on to Jason's wheel because I want to be in his draft. It makes it easier for me. But like, if he gets away from me, it's no big deal. And if we go back to my brother's view, you can see that like he's still, you know, 2 or 3 bike lengths off of the person in front of him. But like, you can see that the whole group is strung out. It's not just that little section I'm with, and he's trying to go around everybody and, you know, hang on to the back of the group basically. And I am getting dropped, so my camera, you know, my view here looks pretty similar to my brother's actually. And I'm just hoping that when I come around this corner, I can reattach to the group. And you can see I take this line where I like start on the outside and then cut through the inside of the corner and then back to the outside. And I think arguably that's like not optimal because it's more distance I have to cover, right? The best would be like stay on the inside of the whole corner. But the benefit for me is that I can keep pedaling through the entire corner. I probably could the other way, but you know, I feel confident enough to pedal through the whole corner. And then this thing happens where I run into the back of the group. That was a big effort for me. I'm up at my max heart rate, 180. And basically have to grab brakes to slot into the group here. Like I tried too hard to catch back up, but I didn't want to get stuck on this against the wind section, trying super hard and staying like, a bike length or two from the people in front of me. So I decided to surge to try to catch back up. And I think it actually worked out well for me. At least right now I feel good about it. We'll see how it plays out. So an attack just went off the right there. I think that was Matt going past. Shout out Matt and his titanium bike. And my plan here is like, I'm trying hard, I want to keep up, but I'm not going to completely blow myself up to try to stay after this attack. I don't know if it's like a preem or what Matt's strategy is, but like I just need to stay in the draft and, hang on. I think I forgot to mention at the top of the video, this is footage from the C race. I did the B race last week, but back to the C race as usual. This is the Cat 4-5 race. And this week we changed from doing a 20-minute race to a 25-minute race because the days are getting longer, so we have more time to race. So it's like less of a all-out sprint for 20 minutes. I mean, 5 minutes doesn't make that big a difference, but it's 25% longer, right? So anyway, it's a little bit longer of a race this time. I think we do like 2 more laps maybe. And yeah, if we switch back to my brother's view, you can see he's basically doing like a solo time trial at this point, which I think is what he wanted to do. He was a little disappointed in the like pack riding that happened last week, and so he was just out here looking for a workout basically this week. So this looks miserable maybe, but that's what he wanted to be doing. And fortunately for me, I managed to hang with that attack, and this is actually Matt in front of me right now, so I think he maybe didn't get what he was looking for there. I'm not sure what his strategy was, but if he was hoping to get some separation from the group, he didn't get it. I think attacking from the back makes that pretty challenging. But yeah, so I know that Matt's a strong rider, and I feel good being on his wheel, so I'm happy to just sit here and be in the draft. So I'm kind of out in the wind here. I'm not totally sure what I'm doing, but we're coming up on this rider, and I asked another guy if he was lapped or not, but he's not. He's in the front of the pack. And I'm like drifting toward the front here, but I'm not, well, now I'm doing a bunch of watts. Previously I wasn't doing a bunch of watts. And that happened to me last week where like sometimes my inertia just took me to the front. And in the past I might have like tried to grab brakes to slot in somewhere more advantageous, but my attack just went from the right there. My thought this time around and last week was that like, if I'm at the front, that's fine. I just have to put in my normal, somewhere between Z4 and Z2 effort, and not like completely blow myself up. And ideally, I go slow enough to where people are frustrated and they want to go around me. So like, I'm not going to grab brakes just because I happen to be drifting to the front. And here we are again, with the attack going against the wind. We got some lap riders on the right as well. Benefit of being at the front of the pack is that I can let a lot of riders go past me and still have, an opportunity to hang on. And you could see, I was, from my shadow, I was checking back to see if I'm at the back of the group. And I think I realized I was, which is why I'm doing 500 watts now to try to reconnect with the group in front of me. But this is pushing into the wind. It was kind of coming from the east/south, so I head to the right a little bit here. And I want to reconnect because I know it's going to surge again once we get around this corner. So like, I need to be with the group here, otherwise I might get dropped and the race might be over for me about halfway through. Fortunately, I am able to reconnect because it did slow up a little bit, but you can see around the corner, there's maybe 4 riders off the front in a couple little groups. So like some separation happened, there's a group off the front, and that means people are gonna chase and try hard. So it's gonna be much more difficult for me to just hang on. So if you've ever wondered just how much benefit you get from riding in the pack, we just went around this this corner after the straightaway. If we switch back to my brother's view, you can see he's more or less just come into the straightaway, about to go around in the first little bend here on the straightaway. And he's been by himself for several laps now, so like he's probably doing 50 more watts on average than I am, and he's doing laps maybe 10 or 20 seconds slower. So that's the benefit of being in the group. That's why it's so nice. Back on my view, you can't really tell, but at this point in the race, I realized that there was a group off the front, and there were a couple riders at the front of our group that were just like setting the pace and basically blocking. I think each of them had a teammate up in the breakaway, and they wanted that breakaway to stick. I'm not sure which teams were represented. It might have been Cadence and Pegasus. I don't remember, but I kind of felt good about recognizing that is what was happening, but I'm not in a situation where I can do anything about it. Like, I'm not gonna go try to make a, connect bridge to the group up ahead, all I can do is just be like, oh, neat, that's what's happening. So I guess I'm going to be riding behind these guys that are blocking the rest of the field. All right, so we're coming into the last lap here. We just had what felt like a pretty spicy lap. I wonder what the lap time is going to be. And I am still with the group. There's, I think, a group off the front of 4, maybe 3. Like I mentioned, there's people blocking for him. So lap there, 2:26. That was a quick lap. Oh, and then I'm not sure what happened to that rider up there, but he kind of skidded over to the side and put a foot down, and that really sketched me out. So I, at this point, decided that's too sketchy for me. I don't want to like be in the mix when stuff like that is happening. So I'm gonna sit up, and you can see him, doing no watts, stopping pedaling basically. Let the group go around me and try to catch on to the back of it and just like chill. It's the last lap, but I don't want to be in the bunch sprint when stuff like that is happening. So letting everybody go past me here. And as expected, that strategy is not great for my placement. I don't do super well in this race, but I don't crash, so I feel good about that. And just come past somebody here at the finish line, so that happened to me last week, so I gotta repay the favor to somebody else this week. Anyway, aside from that little squirreliness there on the last lap, I had a lot of fun out there today. I really enjoyed that my strategy worked of sticking in the middle of the pack. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I look forward to another video next week.